off to you, got the questions, and then like in the L-Dopa one, it's just going to come up with a graphic of the question, and then my voice won't be in it, so it's going to be like a conversation essentially, but it won't come out that way.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
I'm way more down for a conversation anyway. I feel like it's going to be way more natural.
I'm Jack. I'm Smiletechnician. I'm just taking my time to answer so that I answer in the correct, most accurate way. Basically, I facilitate people's creative endeavors and try and help them get their ideas over the line, as well as my own, because I want to make cool things with people, and sometimes people don't know how to do that because the ladder looks so tall, but you can just break it down into little steps that are like accessible and to bring you a bit more progress, basically. So I help people. So here is SLAWN Studio, but it's a screen printing facility, basically. So people will send me their ideas, what they want to create, and I'll mock it up for them, and then I'll dev it here, put it on a screen, and then we can print it. But what tends to happen is someone has an idea, then comes here to execute it, and then I have several like other images that would fit within their world, so we can like collage with the thing, like use their thing as a starting point and then add onto that, basically. So like facilitating their creative process even more. I think it's so hard to not that I don't want to say it, but I think it's so hard to not say Kanye, because he is such a leader and such a strong creative inspiration, like whatever medium he's working in, especially in like the 2021 era of developing into architecture and food and like community resources and thinking on that big scale, but then your roots being in music and culture and clothing. But all of that culture is, and it's the way that I approach when I work with people, try and work with people in a very holistic way. So I check in with them if I can and see what they're eating and like see how they're sleeping and like have a good conversation with them, try and see where their head's at. So I think, yeah, creatively, him definitely, because it's just the right approach to how you should lead your life. And I don't really think that that's considered very much in a day-to-day thing of like a huge plan of what am I going to do past making this t-shirt or making this like song. It's more important what you're putting into your body and what you're putting into your mind and the type of things that you're consuming, basically. Maybe not the end goal, but like the creative process of like being so aware of the upcoming thing and diving headfirst into your research. And yeah, I don't think, because I'm very aware of my output not being derivative of like some of what someone else is doing, and I think it's important that I have my own output like distinctively. And because we're in kind of different worlds, he's making music and doing cut and sew, so I'm just taking like the spirit of the approach rather than the actual action. I was going to say less pressure, but it's actually more pressure because, okay, so I don't like to ask people to do something unless I know how to do it and I'm asking them to do it in a way that I can fully communicate what I need from them, or I'll completely surrender myself and say, I don't know how to do this at all. Can you do this for me and basically teach me? So being behind the scenes, you get to experience and learn a lot of different processes. And I feel like the more experiences that you're exposed to and practice, then you just bolster yourself and know that this thing that I had no idea that even existed, this role that I would never have known about until I do it 2 years ago, now I can turn around this whole thing that would take like 5-10 people to execute myself. But it's just having the facility to do so. The good thing about being behind the scenes is the experience, and also I'm getting to the forefront at some point. It's just not now, because there's not enough, like, I'm not ready to be at that forefront position. And maybe I don't ever need to be either, but it's like, it's more interesting to me if I can do the groundwork. And even to that sentiment, the art in my realm, because I'm like in different positions, is the art is relationships too. Like if I can bridge two people and then they're doing something now, it's like, oh, well, that's, that wouldn't have happened, and I'm so happy that happened. So 2 different scenarios there. When I was working with CLINT, I was a warehouse guy, but from kind of early in that enterprise. So I had a personal relationship with him because there were fewer people there. And now I have a better relationship with him in my eyes because there's not that dynamic of hierarchy. But with SLAWN, it was a creative approach, and all of the people that I work with basically are like relationship first, friendship first, and I'm doing quotations because I actually mean it, like it's not ironically friends, but yeah, friendship first, because if I'm going to work with you, I need to understand you and get what you're trying to achieve. But it's working with creatives is chaos, and I'll agree to that myself. Like, I'm not a very easy guy to work with, but if I'm locked in with you, then we're going to make something great. But I'm so happy to have had experience with people like SLAWN, because you just learn how people work and you adapt. Like I can speak to the creative person, but I can speak to the person in the office at the same time and know how to communicate to both of them, like in the right way. Like I'll hit somebody up in a certain way because I know that they're going to take X amount of time to process that information. And if I actually want to execute on that thing, then it needs to be efficient. Whereas another person, you can be more wordy and more descriptive, and knowing that that initial thing is going to get you to another meeting, basically. So just like being a bit more, like learning to communicate properly and being versatile with different characters. But also super, like those 2 people specifically, super inspiring to be in their presence in there every day, because you see one thing on Instagram and you see another thing in real life, and what their drive is and what their day-to-day life is and what adds up to that 100K plus followers. Like, it's real life work. And I think people miscredit that sometimes and just think, oh, it's just industry. But no, the industry notices you because you worked fucking hard. So I am vegan. I've been vegan for like 8 years, but I wouldn't recommend that necessarily. I would recommend doing any kind of diet. You can do it really unhealthily. I would just recommend people be aware of what they're consuming, physically and spiritually. Just like be more conscious in your day-to-day and know how, like I was fasting before you guys arrived, but I know that I needed to eat some crackers or something because I wish I had better food here, but whatever, I need some sustenance to be able to think. But just being aware of like how your body works, how this food is going to interact at this time, how this food is going to interact with this other food. Like I'm even picky about fruit salad. Like I'm not going to eat pineapple or melon at the same time because I know that they're going to not react well with each other. So it's just like every day is a lesson. I'm finding out one thing one day, and then a few months later, I'm like, oh, this thing's not good anymore because I've done more research on it. And it's intentional that there's not a lot of education on food and health and lifestyle, because then ultimately you're not a customer if you're healthy, you know. I think it's really important, and I do endeavor, and my mum does it already, but not on like a big scale. But I do endeavor to have like farming and some kind of more self-sustaining system in place, so that me and my circle can live the best life we can. I have this like thought process of what makes London so unique. We have new architecture and old architecture. So we have like, we're surrounded by different cultural experiences, whereas Paris is like very old, so they have a different cultural experience, and then New York is pretty much all brand new. So it's like a completely different world. I think London law, other than that, is very intense. And I wish there was some kind of secret that I could give away. But I just think London's the best. Like, meeting people creatively, like, people say New York is always like awake and always active. London is always active. Like, you just got to find the right pockets. I've been to the studio. I've been here working in the day, then go to the studio at 9 p.m, then leave there at 6 a.m, and then sleep for a couple of hours, and then come back here. It's like, that's not a functional way of living. But because it's such a concentrated environment, you only have to do it for a certain period of time. Like, your grind period is way more concentrated here. Whereas if I used to live in Essex, if I was attempting to do what I'm doing now in Essex, it would take way longer. So it's just like a much more pressurized environment, and that can be a good or a bad thing, basically. This guy, Dope Solitary, definitely still Mink. I feel like people were like, "Oh, he's clear, whatever." No, this is the start of the thing, and I've only been put on. Shout out Nicole, my girlfriend, who put me on a long time ago. And yeah, it's like anybody that is bubbling right now is just the beginning of their journey. Like, people that are more up and more influencery right now, I don't know how long their cycle will continue to go for. But I think that's fine, because people are okay with getting a quick bag now, because there's so many quick bags to get. But yeah, way more sustainable artists. Zuko, 100%. Also, like, SLAWN still isn't the superpower that he is inevitably going to be. He's still growing. It's just about when you get to a point of being able to leverage the platform that you already have, and which is why I like connecting people. So if the brand doesn't know about you yet, then that's not their fault. They're just in their zone. But if you can have the facility to do something before, in your developmental stage, then it's going to make you way stronger when you have all your tools. Flynn, for example, too, like my day one, 100% my day one. He is fucking killing it, but as an artist, he's still got a lot of space to develop. Like, shooting for Supreme is like a lifelong dream for people, 100%, and for him too. But the next 20 years is going to be way more interesting than the previous 5, because all of this foundational age and years is going to be like just a moment, and your life's work. Like, people, some of the like most famous arc, I'm not going to be able to name any now, but like, people don't start their art till they're 40 and they die in their 80s and 90s and they're like proclaimed renowned artists. So I'm just so happy that the people that are around me are doing things now, or even thinking about what am I going to do now, because it's a head start. Like, even though I wish I knew what I wanted to do when I was 16, because I didn't at all, I was not in this position at all, or this world, I would be better now, but it's never too late. Like, I don't know the next up and coming guy, because he could start today and I'll find out about him in 6 months. And also, I think that's why London is so great, because if you have the right people around you, and not just like the people that will give you a billboard, the people that will support you, then you can do that overnight thing and you can start building the thing that you want to do. And I don't want to listen to this after and think, oh fuck, I missed out XYZ person. And like, it's not personal at all. I just like interact with the people that I've named are people that I've spoken to or seen in the last like week. So I follow almost 6,000 people on Instagram, and pretty much everybody I fuck with. So if I follow you, then fantastic. Like, you're gonna do something. And because I say that, because I don't want to follow. Not that I don't follow people, but I don't want to follow something that is not interesting. Especially if there's 6,000 of them. So I'm only going to see like 15. But yeah, I just like to deep dive on things and try and keep tabs on what's going on in like our homogenized culture, because the same thing can be happening in London, the same things happen in New York or Paris. And it's all that thing of, you can just go on Instagram and get inspired and make something. My creative process at the moment is, actually no, not even at the moment, for a few years, is connecting with the person that I'm going to be working with that day, or having done so already, and thinking, okay, based on what you want to achieve, or maybe you don't even know what you want to achieve yet, how can we get this thing to the highest point? With all those things I mentioned before, like I'm working on something, or I'm about to be working on something that is like a interior design, basically, for a store, and I've seen a mock-up of it from the client, and it's like, yeah, that will work, but it's just derivative of what you're already doing. So if you have an opportunity to do something new and bring in a new audience, you should do something that's like, not to stop your present audience and make them feel weird or like outcasted, because in the same way, when a new designer comes into a fashion house, they take some of the cues and some of the designs from the previous collection so that people can buy the new one, the next one, and then they can develop into it. Yeah, just how can we communicate to the audience the best version of this thing? And I don't apply that so much to my own creative practice, because I don't have as much time in my own creative practice as I should, but that is perfectly fine, because I know that endeavor of my own creative practice will go on for the next 40 years. The more work I do now with people that I want to work with and enjoy working with every day, the more opportunity I will allow myself to have more freedom and more tools in 5 or 10 years. Yeah, it's just understanding, how can we make this thing the best it possibly can be, with all senses, like, if possible. Like, sometimes Instagram is just the way to communicate, but if you can step into an environment and the environment is the product, then engage with people in as many ways as you can, basically. Haha. Yeah. Oh, on my gram. Oh, that was okay. This is a nerdy moment now. When I was in New York, I saw he posted he was parked on a certain street, and I was like, fuck, I'm never in New York. And he's not really in New York that much either. He lives in like Texas or something. And I was like, fuck, this is my chance right now. If I fuck with this dude so heavy for so long that if he's parked in New York, I can fucking find out where that hotel is. There's probably only like 8 in this area. So I just found out where the hotel was, pretty much the first one, run there or skate there and just say, yeah, hey, what's up? Like, I fuck with you. Mike the Ruler was there too. Had a really nice conversation with him whilst Austin was speaking to another person. And that scenario is just like, you don't know what's going to happen today. So whatever presents itself is like, fucking make the most of it. And yeah, like nothing has come from that, but apart from a picture, but I'm like super grateful to meet those guys because I wouldn't be able to, being in London. They should come to London. You should come to London if you're watching. Yeah, like those two super strong pioneers of culture, and I think people forget and they don't get their flowers for it, but they're good with that because they are successful in their own right, and Austin's doing fucking crazy shit with printing and very inspirational to me. And that's what I was saying earlier. Like, I'm aware of my references, but I'm not trying to be derivative of people. But he's gone on a super wild, not tangent, but like niche of let me make this print the best it can be. Super detailed, like loads of colors, automatic machines, and he's built an empire, and he has multiple staff that are doing his operation every day, and he started that shit from printing a t-shirt in his room. So like that's not the blueprint, but it's a blueprint, and it just proves to you that you can do it. And he's turned down brand deals and everything, so like you don't need the quick bag. Like, invest in yourself and invest in your enterprise. I'm humbled and grateful that anybody would think that of us. And I hadn't thought this till right now. I don't fuck with monarchy in its present form in the world that it exists. Because it's like you are at the peak of power and control and ownership. So therefore, you should fucking help everybody. So if I'm going to take that title and be grateful to do that, then I'm going to do everything in my power to be able to help people, and even before I help myself. Because like if I can provide something between the two of us collaborating on something that I couldn't have made myself, then great, we made something brand new. And if I can bridge you to someone else, then you guys can make something brand new, and that's fantastic. Nicole is so studied and well referenced, and I don't want to just like say she's the best ever, but she is. So if people think that about both of us, then thank you so much, and I appreciate it so much. She doesn't know that she's an artist because her output is not her output is her Instagram and her stories, but she hasn't worked out a way to materialize that into something that she thinks is valid. But that's so valid. It's just a case of having the confidence in yourself to do the thing that you want to do, and having the tools to know how to make it. Because if you haven't, like if I didn't do fine art A-level in my second year of school, having never done it before, then I wouldn't be here. Because in just your second year, you just apply what you learned in the first year, but I didn't learn anything in the first year because I didn't do it. So I was just applying because I had tools. Yeah, it's just about having the tools and having the confidence, and then all of your references and all the things you love, you can push them out and bring them to life. So she's going to do that, but she just doesn't know it yet. And I'm going to facilitate her doing it. Okay, so quickly, I didn't do anything artistic really in GCSEs. I did computer science, and I wanted to do textiles, but my school didn't have enough people to let me do the GCSE. So I did product design, which was fire, and I'm glad. And then as I got more into clothes because of computer science, which sounds weird, but it's real, because Finn and I would do the classes and basically not do any coursework and just watch Supreme videos. By the time GCSEs rolled around, I'm like, fuck, I want to make some clothes. Product design, let me make some trousers. My teacher's like, I don't know how to teach you how to do that. If you want to do that and fuck up, then go ahead. So I did that. Then fast forward to A-levels, English language, psychology, sociology, textiles. I was way more invested in the subject rather than the exam. In my exams, I critiqued the question, how it was asked in the English language exam, because I'm like, you're not asking the thing for me to present my answer in the right way. So as a result, I do all creative subjects the next year instead of any academic subjects. And then fine art, sculpture, textiles for 1 year, and then foundation course, basically the same thing again. So I'm glad that I had so much variety and experience, because I wouldn't change any of them, because it's brought me to this position. And from the research and the development in those subjects, I can be well versed in a lot of different things, rather than like doing fine art GCSE, fine art A-level, fine art uni. Then I'm like in a box, and that's also fine, but I just don't fit those parameters. And then lockdown happened, and then Finn was already living in London at uni, and I wasn't. And I came and stayed with him and seen all the Motherland guys chilling and living in his crib. And I go away, I'm like, fuck, I need to do that right now. So I hit him up like a week after, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to come stay at your house again. He's like, yeah, it's fine. Then it just rolled into 2 months, and then was working at Bankrupt, a store on Brick Lane, got some peas, moved in with the Always guys. So blessed to have met them and live with them, and now because of that I know them and have worked and do sometimes work with them. So all these things are like, from your day one, you organically meet the right people and live with them, work with them, and then spend hopefully the rest of your life with them. So if your day one is the right one for you, then stick with them and build together, and you'll be fine. Okay, I'm glad you asked this, because I had not a question, but like an answer without a question in my head that I would like to give advice about. So at public events of things that my friends put on that I'm at, I tend to speak to people and they ask me similar things, like, how did you start working with this person, or how did you get into this position, or whatever. But I think the most important thing, if you're going to do anything, is not to strive to work with a specific person and that be your end goal. You need to, like, you can't brute force your way into a place because you might not have the experience or might not be able to read the room properly or might not even like that person personally. And I think that's a super important thing too. And that's why Motherland work together so well, because we can all sit in a room for hours and either chat shit or do nothing. So you need to find your people rather than finding the job title that you want to do. It's still SLAWN's now.
Okay.
But yeah, the space, SLAWN was going to move here, or did move here, didn't really like it that much because he preferred the environments that he works in otherwise. And then, yeah, the space is like, was kind of storage for his cafe, and just other people were working here. But I knew that it would be a beneficial thing to us as a creative group to have this printing facility. And it's not a factory either. Like, I'm not the best screen printer by any means. And even people that give me, within our circle or not, stuff to do, I will tell you straight up, like, I'm not going to be able to do this. You need to do this. But if they still want to work, then that's great, but you got to embrace the fuck-ups. Because it's part of it. Yes. And yes. But the foam is just a placeholder name, basically. Foam is for all M experiments. So it's like, it needed a title, but it doesn't need, it's just my creative output. So it will extend to furniture design or like interior design, but it just needed something that you can slap on a t-shirt and sounds nice to say and is a bit ambiguous. And when you think of foam, it's malleable and like multi-purpose. So definitely yes, but I'm going to make t-shirts that just say that on it, foam, but it's also not the point. I don't want to just make something, like I would much more rather make something that says London, because London's sick. But then at the same time, people will think that people want to invest in foam, so fuck it, actually, maybe that's fine. I seen it. It's fucked, but it is like, it's not that it's inevitable, but it's just the internet. So I made the graphic, and I didn't print it myself. I got someone else to print it. Spent fucking loads of money on those hoodies and the printing, and basically didn't really sell any. Gave some away. Few people bought some. And now, I was thinking about it the other day, I'm so happy, and it's so important that you do things, even if basically nobody buys it, it's fine. Because over time, that thing will evolve and become a new thing. And then like, people are hitting me up now saying, please, can you make this? Please, can I buy one? I'm like, no. Because then you ruin the story. If I just reprint it, then it's not as special anymore. And I'm so glad that it has become the thing that it is, because even for that moral of like, do the thing, whether people fuck with it or not, like, it's gonna grow. And yeah, fried, like, who's trying to pay Chrome Hearts prices for that hoodie? But
that's it. We're done. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time, guys. I appreciate you a lot. I did an interview before, but it never came out. And this will come out.